지배제 조심해도 정을 젠바디 산제 신도 메데보와 로그난다 신나 주보 쇼이다 아멘.
Can the signs and marks of a Buddha appear to sense consciousness of an ordinary being, or do they appear as an object of thought and are thus perceived through a generic image, or I'm translating that as concept? Then Sangigi Tsempe di sosukiwala nangsona Sangigi Tsempe sosukiwala nangsona di ngunsum du nangirepe ngunsum
나요.
yana di kaza 똑바라 nan기도
똑바라 나요. 그런 것은 나요.
똑바라 나ngsona di
똑바라 나나래 무슨 나나래 이가 말이 바짝을 내비나 나래
di 똑바라 nangsona di dunchitsugi tograba
dunchi단 제우구나
dunchidan. Yes, so yes, all of those, they appear to, in all ways, to ordinary sentient beings through sense perception, as thought, through thought, and when they're known by thought, then it's through concepts. And those are all affected by the ignorance, or their adult. Those awarenesses are all adulterated by ignorance. Then I get confused by the oscillation between Marikpa and Marikpe Bakcha. I get confused by the oscillation between ignorance and the imprints of ignorance in this context, where the text says in the Tibetan, page 354, line 13, when they appear to a person who has not gotten rid of ignorance, does this mean that when they appear to a person who has not gotten rid of the imprints of ignorance, because later in this passage it says, line 15 through 16, this is in the Tibetan again, when that perceiving subject, they appear for that perceiving subject by the force of, they appear by the force of being, that a perceiving subject being adulterated with the, or affected by the imprints of ignorance. There's a considerable difference between a person who has only the imprints of ignorance and a person who also has ignorance. Di couple of shungla marikpa ta marikpe bakcha nika beji jeromchigi marikpe bakcha ta marikpa ma phangpi kansala nawana marikpe bakcha la ma phangpe kansala nawana di golden di ores di shungla
말이 그래서
marikpa ma phangpe kansala nawana
이제 다진 데려와 다진 데 시거와 다진 것도 해야 돼
말에 마르 디 슝라 마르페 바차키 레페 왕기 오나 지
죽어와
나시 나시
말이 바자 안에 그래서
디난 그래 낭출
난 자제 산제 차베 봐
상계 침배 마르페 가서 나와
산제 난주니 산제의 침배 마르바베 가사라 나와나 아니 마르바 마바베 가사데라 침배데 랑게 마주 신도 랑게 천이 투아 나와니 아니 가서래 유대 마르베 바자지 레베 왕거 총아 말했어 산제기 나야기 산제기 침배데 마르 바자지 레베 왕거 총아 말했어 봐 유제 셈제랑기 아니 시와티 에 마르비 바자지 레베 왕거 나와래 是吧？是吧？那你他听到的他就讲啊，你就么的，天理是有些的马的爬下去往个那边那玩意是，天理那玩听，看啥想不起了。安尼马的爬下去那边那玩怎么就我呢？有些天了，安尼什么叫有些天了？那我明白。全部扩张给扩了，全部那样的，全部扩张给我呢，安尼啊，让个成绩就没出去，让个成绩转那玩意。这算。
因为
你trouve que
di marik nangchu sangi tsimbe marik pa ma pambi ganzala nawana marik pe bakchaki wangi chungi gyutsingi men
是这样的，那句前辈的马路爬下去往个床马了哇，三节个就对去了哇。那句前辈的上节马路爬下去往个床往个那往马的，我那可能是前辈那边身边个就是写话的马路爬下去200张提往个那的。
So the point here then is that the signs and marks themselves have not arisen, have not come into existence, have not arisen by the force of the imprints of ignorance, but when they appear to persons who have not gotten rid of ignorance, then they appear as if they existed by means of their own intrinsic identity to such persons who, by the force of those persons being subject to having the imprints of ignorance.
That's right.
Did I get it? Yeah, okay. Then this may be coming, but I thought I would ask this question in a simple way. If the Buddhas don't see sentient beings aggregates, how do they see us? As causes and conditions, as dreamlike beings? Can they see sentient beings as we see them if they want to? So, do you do this? If Sangila Simjingi Pungpo Sigiduge. Really? Did that come across right? Sort of, yeah. The Masina, Sangi Simjingi Pungbo Masina, then he kind of says Sigire Gangatsu.
Sanja Pumbo Masi said, Pumbo Masi or Mother Cigarettes. Pumbo Masi was said, Sanje Chinese, Punso, Chinese, be seen or Punso Masibare, Telechagora.
So yes, this question's based on a misunderstanding, because we said that the Buddhas see sentient beings. They actually see the aggregates of the sentient beings. They see the sentient beings. But here, when it's saying that a specific form of the omniscience of a Buddha does not see the aggregates, etc., what that is referring specifically to that aspect of omniscience, which is seeing the final nature of things. So that form of omniscience is seeing the final nature of the aggregates, but within the perspective of that specific vision of the final nature of things, it's the aggregates and such, these conventional things, phenomenal things don't appear within the perspective of that particular vision. Yeah. Then the Chuku. Yesterday there were no questions. Today there are a lot of questions. Longku, Sangi Longku, Chuku Kanasi. Longku, Chuku Kanasi Mundu Chegeres.
Longku gi, ani Chugusana, Tekwana Javi, Koran Dula Jewa, on the Chigirava, Angela on the Chigirava, Tekwana to be easy, Jewa Chigirava. 먼저 제스리가 론지도 욕구 톱지 잠바 아니 대단 뒤냐면도 요 아니 태권하니 또 무슨도 또 이시장 먼저 치기로 와 도그로 와 론지도 욕구 통보 톱지 잠바 봐 이시장 먼저 제네 아니 롱고래 고고 와라 봐
이시기 문두 체네
먼저 제바보 이시장 먼저 제바 줄에 깨바보도 저는 그래 다오나 먼저 이시 조공 먼저 줄에 깨바보데 론지도 욕구데 강 규직이 이시 최고데 아니 유동반이다 요새 이신이 로지도 집이 아니 이시데
So here actually it happens simultaneously in that the Sambhogakaya and the Dharmakaya occur simultaneously. But in terms of speaking of the person, one can say that the Sambhogakaya is that which, as it said in this passage here, that the Sambhogakaya is the agent which causes the affects the actualization of that.
제바보와 아니 줄에 깨바보 먼저 제바보 봐
So 이는 두냠두
두냠 지그로 구시지자도 먼저 지그어라 와
But so the four kayas are actualized simultaneously, but it's in the passage that we read. It says that the Sambhogakaya is that which is the agent that actualizes. It's the agent in the sense of being the knower, the knower, and then the Dharmakaya is actualized in that way.
Oh yeah.
Then does not seeing mean that things are literally not seen by the eye organ and eye consciousness, or are objects seen by the eye but not conceived as inherent objects in the mind? Die Mazikbetsugi Zikpa, die Chuchin Mazikpa, die Chuchin Mazikpa,
최대한 말씀을
die
천이 주면서
Chuni Zikpa, die Ihnen die Mikshedang, Miki Wangpo dan Miki Sheba ki Mazikpa,
시
die
매일 시와도 수 말씀하세요.
die Miki Wangpo dan Miki Sheba ki
수 말씀하네. 수 말씀하세요. 미시기 아니 그 말씀에서 가르세.
Nos.
미시 가르세. 자살의 수 말씀에 미시를
Masipa di
근데 이 산재기 이시기
So this is actually referring specific to the gnosis of a Buddha, rather than speaking of it in terms of like the visual perception in the ordinary sense of when an eye organ is the medium through which the eye awareness or consciousness perceives a visual object. So here this is different, I think.
미실이라고 맞대죠. 자사디 아니 산재기 치다와 도비 이시당 아니 로발이나 르시도메 타다기
So this is when this non-seeing that's being discussed here is not really primarily talking about visual sense perception. Rather, it's talking about we're taking like the principal one being the way the Buddhas see things as they are. That form of the awareness that arises from reasoned investigation into the final nature of things, and then that also applies to the persons who are on the stage of training that have developed or that are developing and have developed the gnosis, which directly knows things as they are. Is not emptiness always dependent upon what is fabricated? Here Tibetan word is chima. So how can emptiness be not fabricated, chima mayimpa, and how can it be not contingent upon another? So, Tony chumala demba marapes.
유전지 맞죠봐. 맞죠봐.
Yukingi machuba.
저만 많이 봤어. 동안터 그게.
So when it says it's not fabricated, it means it's not fabricated by or artificially created, fabricated by causes and conditions. So it's in that sense not fabricated. And then also the Tony Shinla Tuba Mepa. Shinla Tuba Mepa. Kandase.
가세.
Tony Chumamaya.
규제시한라 맞죠. 규제시한라 규제인지 맞죠봐도 규제시한라 맞죠봐 말했어. 맞죠봐랬잖아. 규제시한라 맞죠봐. 규제시한지 맞죠봐.
So then, again, there one has to say that emptiness is not contingent upon another, and other means here some extrinsic causes and conditions.
That is so. Oh yeah. That doesn't have gozo. How gozo? 다들 가르래서나 남주니 산제지 참배 마르바 밤배 가사라 나와나 마르바 마밤배 가사라 아니 산제지 가사랑 그 천이지 참배랑 그 천이지 마주신도 아니랑 그 천이 주어 나와대 아니 유 참배대 말을 바자지 레베 왕그 총이 준자지 말에 와 워낙 가르래서나 산제 그 참배 나미 유전지 시와대 유전지 말을 바자지 레베 왕그 나와 인데 유전지 시와대랑 대라양 말을 바자지 레베 나와 대양 나와 대니 아니 가사시랑래 선배 가사 현지라 산제지 참배 아니 가소래 랑그 천이 좀 맞으시도 랑그 천이 나와 잠지 권에 유전대라 나와 민바 참배 코랑 그 뭐네 랑그 칸 랑은에 맞으시도 랑은에 주바 나와지래 아고서디 어디 오마디 오텔라 제나 연이 사업 쪽으로 안될 주다.
So then to restate what was said earlier, and then it says with respect to the way in which the signs and marks of a Buddha appear, when they appear to a person who has not gotten rid of ignorance, although they don't, these signs and marks are not established by means of their own intrinsic identity, they appear that way for such a person who has not gotten rid of ignorance, and that appearance is not because the marks and signs of a Buddha have originated by the force of the propensities of ignorance. Rather, they appear that way because they're appearing by the force of the contamination or adulteration of the propensities of ignorance for that perceiving subject, that person who has not gotten rid of ignorance. And that appearance is such that it's not the case that it appears without appearing to that person who is la gendi yuchinde nawa member yuchinde
유전 대라 나와 민바 나와 담 가사 현라 대다 나와 담 중원에 머리 바자지 레비 시와 대라 아니 가서 유대랑 그 천이지 마루제랑 그 천이 주어 나와 마인바 와 산제 유 안에 가르래서나 산제지 아니 참고 코랑 그 뭐네 랑어 좀 마루스인데랑 그 천이 주어 나와래
유친데 마르페 박차 기 레바
유전 가사 현이 이제 가사 시행을 대다 나와 좀 중요해. 요즘 대다 나와 많이 봤어. 가사 시행지라. 다들 엄마들 사주 그래.
So then that doesn't. So these marks and signs then don't appear to that perceiving subject, and from the side of them appearing to some other person that for whom they appear that way. Rather, they appear to that perceiving subject from their own side, or from the own side of that perceiving subject, as appearing that way, as if they existed by means of their own intrinsic identity.
到我得了，三节级企业把钱币一些啦，三节级企业把钱币一些工作那么才一些的啦，马日把马帮比，马日比马帮比，马日比来比，俺那先我容我，苏扎了说话，让个参加级马主心都太难于团的，俺那三节级一些的了，那我提成了，那我那，是吧？那我呢，马日比来把月比卡萨太大了。 我的马日比那把月比看啥太大了，俺那让苏扎说让个参与这马主心的太难哇，可能俺那三节了那我引起，那把月比看啥太大了，那我太可能那俺那三节了那我引起，哦，看啥钱了太大那我的没吧，俺那看啥钱了太大就其他那有团的。 So then
the next passage is what clarifies what was just said too. That with respect to the gnosis, which understands a Buddha's gnosis, which knows things in their diversity, that is, knows the plurality of phenomenal things, then things which objects which appear as if they were established by means of their own intrinsic identity, even though they're not established by means of their own intrinsic identity, that is, forms, visible forms, sounds, etc., which appear as if they're existing by means of their own intrinsic identity within the perspective of someone who has not gotten rid of ignorance. Those appearances they appear to a Buddha only by means of the way in which they're appearing to those persons who are still affected by ignorance, but without depending upon or without being contingent upon the way they appear thus to others. They don't appear within the own from the Buddha's own side. They don't appear at all.
Oh, that's just one cause. The dama is quite like do. Oh, and now minus. Teji suso ranshi je madu chi de ternawa. Ani suso ranshi je madu chi ternawa de sanje ji chenbayang. 자 수소 ranshi ji madu de ternawa de sanje ji chenbayi 태양. 아니 마르발라 덴발라 나미 응원의 인지스 마르바당 덴발라 아니 수소라시지 마두진도 나와테 아니 산제기라 나와 인지스 인지 가사 마르바당 덴바이 가사 테라 나와라 마데바 산제랑 응원의 대단하게 추지 첨바마 민배 테르나에 추어지게 되면도 사실 출시적이 된다요 말이.
So therefore, when things like visible forms, etc., though they're not established by means of their own intrinsic nature, they appear in that way. It is the case that a Buddha knows them. Buddhas know them. However, this is occurring from the point of view of the way in which they appear to someone who possesses ignorance, but without depending upon the way in which they appear in that way to such persons, the Buddha does not know them in some way in which they're appearing like that is existing by means of their own intrinsic nature from the Buddha's own side. Therefore, it's not the case that Buddha is because that's the case. The appearance of things as if they were intrinsically existent does not entail that a Buddha is mistaken.
그래서 테니스 소소랑신지 마주친도 테나미 아니 산제지 첨바 태양 아니 마르발라 덴바 테다라 나용원에 대단나용원에 인지 안에 가사 텔레 테나와라 마되바 산제 랑원에 대단나요 수치 첨바 민배 추체 매체 텐데위 이시라 레바연에스 산제기 이시데나 이시랑라 마르비여바 레바연에 나와 미양 이시디 세제 탐제 킹거위 내지 아니 마르비 레비 셰와라양 아니 랑원에 마주신도 랑원에 주바나외 나와디 아니 셰바레 쳔바레
So then again to go over that, therefore the same passage where it has said that visible forms etc., though they don't exist by means of their own intrinsic nature, when they appear that way, and Buddha understands them in that way, then this is strictly from the side of them appearing as such, as if they existed by means of their own intrinsic nature to persons who possess ignorance. But without depending upon the way in which they're appearing in that way to such persons, from a Buddha's own side, it's not the case that the Buddha knows these things as appearing that way from a Buddha's own side. Therefore, the Buddhas are not in error about this because they're seeing things as they're seeing things as they're seen by others. But they don't have the mistake of conceiving them as existing by means of their own intrinsic nature, and this and that shows that although it's not the case that they appear from that gnosis being contaminated with ignorance. However, that gnosis necessarily has to be able to know all objects of knowledge, and this way of explaining this is because of the key point of the fact that this gnosis must necessarily know all objects of knowledge.
Oh yeah, 윤전 대단하나 아니 세제 진예바 쳔비 아니 쳔베랑을 내니 오 탐제 다음에 바탕 라신지 매병 오르 나베 좀 신도 난기 라 오 탐제 다음에 바다 라신지 매병 오르 나베 세가라 라신지 마주바기 라 아니 라신지 마주신도 라신지 주바 나와기 아니 줌바 maybe 뭐 나외 줌바 주마신 안기 줌바데 나와 인장 줌바데 아니 나네 믿음 바 주마나 나네 믿음 바 인장 아니 줌바 주마신도 나스고 아레스텔라 덴바 마드비신도 안에 덴바 나왔대 데 말에서 덴바 미나라 와 오주마신 세를 거야 돼 줌바 코랑 아니 나네 미팅 비치 주마다고 인장 아니 코 나와 인장 난게 인장 주마 나와 주마신도 난기 덴바 미나라 마르바단 덴바 남라니 나위 차네 마르바단 덴바라 나위 차네 이시데라 나와나 라 이시데라 마르바단 덴바라 아니 덴두도 마주신도 덴바 주와 나위 차네 이시텔라 아나 가서 나위 차네 이시텔라 나와나 가사 다지나 신신 가사 신라 덴바 나와대 나 덴바 나와 샤와 자모스 가사 신라 덴바 나와디 이시텔라 샤와 자모레스
So this shows that although it's the case, I translated that already. So then therefore, that being so, then from the side of the gnosis of the knowledge of everything in its diversity, from that's its own side, all things appear having a character which is devoid of self and is without intrinsic existence. So when all phenomena, all things appear to that, they appear as spurious things that are like an illusion. So. But they don't appear to be real.
그래서 대단한 진리의 신비랑은 내니 오 탐제 아니 가사를 오 탐제 다음에 받아 랑심의 병오 와 랑심의 병오 나외 주마 신도 땅기 세고라가라 아니 세자 징에 보면 군조비 대다 최대다 아니 가서래 나네 믿음 비춰 덴반 나장 덴반 마주 비춰 인배 아니 덴반 가서 주마 신도 땅기 그러면도 이제 걸라라 덴반 나라 덴반 마주 같은 많이 받쳐
So thus, when then all phenomena, all things that appear, they appear. Here it's specifically talking about the objects which are in their diversity, objects of knowledge in their diversity, which they have this spurious, illusion-like quality of appearing in one way and existing in another. When they appear for the knowledge which knows everything in its diversity, those things appear to that knowledge with the character of being without a self, being without, devoid of intrinsic existence. All of those things appear that way. So therefore, they appear simply as spurious, illusion-like things, but they don't appear as if they were real. So those things, when they appear that way, as spurious illusion-like things, they appear when so when the portion of their appearance which is appearing as if it was real, which appears to that gnosis, it's appearing simply from the point of view of the way in which it appears to those who have ignorance. It appears real to people that it appears as if these things appear as if they were established as real to persons who have ignorance, and the gnosis, which knows the diversity of things, perceives those appearances, but it's a mere arising of an appearance of things as being real as it appears to other persons.
Oh yeah, that is on. I say, in the Maribadan Dambala Navi Chanes, Maribi Lebadan Damba Namla, Ani, or Damba Madrupshin to Damba Navi Chane, Ani, Nawati, Ishitela Nawana, Casa Shen de la 담바 마주신도 담바 나와데 아니 이시텔라 샤라 잠레.
So then again, when the portion of the appearance of things as being real, which is things are not established as real, but they appear as if they were established as real to persons who possess ignorance. So that way of appearing as real appears to that gnosis, which knows the diversity of the plurality of things. But it is appearing it's merely an appearance of them being real as that appears to other persons.
Oh yeah, that thing riba chuju wala ngola khawa nam jeni ngo meta lui che so dang dong ba da me ba number 1 是小话通写送啦 提这话来讲，你这把他清白，这把他就把三节去，这把他清白，你他看到也给的中国人说的是吧？你到把他绿切当，当把了说话，让心去没心度，让心去出啊，那话题，你是没有把他等把了那话题。아니 산제지기 아니 잡아 타진 바야 산제기 대다 쓰바 송소.
So then the source for this is that, or this is also the same thing is taught in the 60 verses of reasoning by Arya Nagarjuna, where it says that those who are skilled in things, they see phenomena that are things that are impermanent and deceptive phenomena as if they were vain, as if they were empty, selfless, and isolated. In that way, they see them. It says that, and then the commentary to that verse by Master Chandrakirti says that explains that this is the way in which someone who has completed their work, has completed their objectives, that meaning a Buddha also sees them in that way.
Oh yeah. 当我即将有你来的呢，全部说说吧，每个话题是，但点把你我的，从那点把的工作点把你我的，我这个人，我这个人讲，你有说了对的，你他那其他话前边一些的。 青年吧，前边一些现在一切说说吧，没搞完的。大部我也把其他那问题可能，但你给我他们讲的，他们前边我什么事，看谁的，大约我也把是让心去出吧，是吧？看说，真正的说话给大约给，然后我也把아니其他나와 디코나 세디其他多边다 가서래 남기 소치윈지래 와 근데 제가 탐자니 탐자 무슨 시바이 시에기 친해봐 친해봐 세자 친해봐 무슨도 살래 시바탐其他大员바이 안에 뒤에서 와其他大员我也要把上信息注意我要比 아니现在其他那晚的可能，但你叫我他们讲呢，他们就前面我什么建议是一个了，但前面把他们讲，我什么都三来十八堂，前面把前面了，看这些堂、些家堂，当你结束马上话，天天才嘛没讲完，那我等级没接受些话堂、些家，那说话，你那年我习为。 你定义对了，听那样没钱吧？是干了，他其他我多别那么些，条款那也多别那么些话，些话当些家当，那说话，当你接受没懂话，谁干了？你说那位怎么接受没懂话？这里怎么没懂话？那我电机没写说我是听着话去，是你那年我的习为定义对了。 听那样没信吧？没信吧？写吧？一个书， 이게 소송바 남장 다시 가서 지신도 맞고 왔남라 지신도 맞고 와라 등이 가론지 마도바 이가 칼라만 가와 나양 좋아 등이 지다와다 제자 지혜받아 지혜번 이나 가론지 마도바 이가 칼라만 가와 나양 가와 메데 좋아 안디 고디야 주다 고디야
So this is it's also shown in the two realities text, and here it says that although the two realities, this is a subject heading inserted into the basic text. It says that although the two realities are of a single character, the object dependent upon the object, which is the two realities, then the knowledge, which understands things as they are and understands things in their diversity, is differentiated, posited individually, and showing why that's not contradictory. To say that again, although the two realities are of a single character, the independence upon the two realities as objects, the two forms of knowledge that comprise omniscience, that is the knowledge of things in their diversity and the knowledge of things as they are posited separately, and showing why that is not contradictory. So here it first starts off by citing this the text on the two realities. So this two truths is by the master Acharya Jnanagarbha, and it says
아니 제와 탐제 쳔벤 라시지 마루장 안에 치다는 경우고 규제를 제와 탐제 쳔벤 무슨도 시가라 진예바 탐베 진예바 쳔비 이시디 그 시자 진예바 무슨도 시도되세 와.
So the first verse out of this quotation shows the way in which the omniscience knows things as in their diversity, in their plurality, and it says at the end of that verse that the omniscience sees these things, the diversity of things, directly. It sees them directly, and so the description of what the diversity of things is that everything which has arisen in dependence, and the omniscience sees everything which has arisen in dependence, just as it is, it appears to that omniscience just as it is, and it appears to that omniscience just as it is, separated from their imagined characters. Here, the imagined character would refer to the imagined character refers to existing by means of its own intrinsic existence, a phenomenal thing existing by means of its own intrinsic existence would be this imagined character, which is separated from the thing in this vision of things as they are. So again, to restate that, the omniscience directly sees everything that has arisen in dependence as it appears, just as it is, separated from its imagined character. So that says, that verse then shows that the omniscience, which is seeing the diversity of things, clearly and vividly sees everything directly.
Tene tsama mijon wa nawa tenji mishin so se gara ane chine chida wa chimbi ishe di ngo ane 가서를 이세 때 뭐 시제당 한국제 아니 이세딩고 시제당 가서 이세라니 시와당 시제라서와 이세디 천이시비 생으로 다니지 제수 미통와 인자 아니 참아 되네 참아 미종와 천이 생우 천이 그 심어 천이시비 생우 니난 그 드베 참아 미종와 된다왜 아니 천이 되라 내가 땡지 천이 되라 아니 제주도 냐바 샤바달라 내가 땡지 천이래 아니 가서래 요천이라 냐바 샤바달라 냠샤달라 미신와 냠샤달라 미定wa 와 냠샤라 마당와 미신소 냠샤달라 미당소 미신소 시 니나 냐와 시위 세다 지다와 또 남진데 안에 가서래 천이세비 생우 니난 거 저와 냐와 말려봐 시위 띵에진라 띵에진데 니난 거 저와 말려봐 시위 안에 띵에진라 튀 남이야 미신바 샤바 이기 이세 진여바 참바 그 샤자 무슨 더 살레 세바 대당 신이 지도와 집에 참는데 유동반이라 냠바샤데 돈이라 뒤나만 미담와 샤바기 샤바 이기 수 샤바니 이기 수 수반 남장 다 치신도 마고와 어 샤바 나시 치신도 마고와 괜히 가론지 마도바 이가开了吧다 이가开了吧 가와 나와야 가와 나에 스탁텔라 가와 요 말에 슬랭자거든.
So then the second verse is describing the gnosis, the omniscience, which understands things as they are, and it says that when it doesn't see awareness, here this awareness is referring to the gnosis itself, object of knowledge, the object of that gnosis, and itself, it doesn't see that, then because there's no arising of signs, here the signs refers to the dualistic elaborations within the context of that meditative absorption on things as on reality or dharmata as it is, because it's, as said earlier, it's like water poured into water. The subject-object duality has disappeared, and reality and the awareness of that reality, the gnosis which knows that reality, are indistinguishable within that awareness. So, because those the signs of dualistic appearance don't occur, and because that condition is stable as such, that is, once that once one achieves Buddhahood and one actualizes that that gnosis, which understands things as they are in the way that it was just described, then a Buddha never arises out of that state. So that state is that condition is stable. It's fixed, and so that's what the verse says in describing this. Then, so the explanation here is that that the Buddha never arises from the meditative concentration in which these dualistic appearances have been pacified. So that's in reference then again to the omniscience which knows things as they are. So the two of these together, the omniscience which knows things in their diversity, which directly and vividly sees all of the plurality of things, and then the omniscience which sees things as they are, with all of the dualistic appearances having been pacified. That's kind of samadhi. Those two, both of these are explained in that way. If one doesn't understand them correctly, and in this way that's been explained here, then one won't be able to accept. One will only be able to accept one of those. One won't be able to accept both of them such that they don't contradict. So to rephrase that, if someone who doesn't understand these correctly, they'll only be able to accept one of them. They won't be able to accept both of them. They'll see holding both of them as being contradictory, but that contradiction is non-existent, actually.
Oh yeah. That mingawi junja khare sana kawa mede tekwana ni sibatang sheja chida wa sibatang ane sheja ane 가서 친ye ba sibi 이신이 오던 오지래 이세지 오지 이양 유소소라 때네 유소소라 때네 세가나 소스 sheja chida wa 때네 안에 치다와 도비 남시 치다와 도비 이시 세자 친ye ba sibal라 때네 아니 가서 타녀비 참아 치다와 도바 시발라 때데 릭세당 타녀비 시와 친ye ba sibal라 때네 타녀비 시와 니스 조와 아니 타녀비 시와 니스 조와 중사장 민가위 치로 라
So then, the showing that contradiction is non-existent is explained here. The reason for that is given that seeing things as they are. Here, this again, seeing things, seeing reality, is seeing things as they are. That form of the gnosis, which understands things as they are, that kind of omniscience. And the vision of things in their diversity, that is the omniscience which understands the plurality of things. Those two types of gnosis, the two gnoses are of a single character. However, although they're of a single character, they're from the point of view of their objects. Then one can distinguish them in terms of the reasoning awareness, which has investigated the final nature of things, and the awareness, which is the valid cognition about conventional things, conventional awareness. They act as that. There's no contradiction at all in them acting in that way.
Oh yeah, that she tawa jongawa she tawa dang dewi ka so 참만이 이 유자와 나 테라 참만이 간주 송 시거와 시가라. 와 안에 참만이 오 되게 치다와 첨비 이세다 치다와 징해바 첨비 이세니오 되게 치다와 첨비 이세되게 징해바 첨비 이세대한 치다와 첨바레데 아니 참아 소소로 송소 가르래 치다와 첨비 이세대 세자 치다와라 참아 송시 치다와라 안에 치다와 도비 참아 송신 그러와 세자 치다와라 징해바 첨비 참아 마송 징해바 첨비 이세대 세자 징해바라 징해바 첨비 참아 송신 세자 치다와라 안에 첨비 참아 마송와我对你的，가서를 저기까지 가산 전담 대비 천이라 아니 가서래 대단히 뇌된 가시라 리셋에 tellat되게 참아 송화당 아니 타냐 제지가 참아 송화당 타냐 아니 전담 제지가 참아 송화 세기 개바지 가산 지구와 어디 뒤된다도 마시는 거래.
So then these two kinds of gnosis, the gnosis which understands things as they are and the gnosis which understands things in their diversity, they're distinguished, as we've said, from the point of view of their objects. So one has to be clear here that actually the gnosis which knows things as they are also knows things in their diversity, and likewise the gnosis which knows things in their diversity also knows things as they are. But from the point of view of their primary object, the objects that they're directed towards, then one distinguishes them as valid awareness with respect to those specific objects. So they become so that the gnosis which knows things as they are is a valid awareness with respect to that nature of things, the final nature of things, whereas the gnosis which knows things in their diversity is valid knowledge with respect to the diversity of things, the plurality of things. And this was, we've already touched on this previously, where we were talking about the distinction between the way in which the reasoning awareness, which investigates the final nature of reality, it functions as a valid knowledge with respect to the final nature of things, the emptiness, but it doesn't operate as a valid knowledge with respect to conventional things, and vice versa, that conventional valid awareness is valid knowledge with respect to conventional phenomenal things, but is not a valid awareness with respect to the final nature of things.
Oh yeah, the country is an young. She Dawi Gasu, she Dawa Della Baby Gasu, that church and Casata would jig dinner. Rishi, down Tanya be Taman, you to Mendra and young grace. Tayagi, when you want you to about you 7 Chenny, Rishi near doing Tandabachi down. Tanya with Tamak near the Gunzo Dambachi, you to Mendra and you on. 搞就在讲没吧，来把写完了拿来说，我得搞没把写完拿来回来，
你这么你真的不当
啊，是到我店了别别，告诉确诊看啥到这个定呢，啊，你这些当，这些给你比团那电话机当，啊，你他那边才嘛给你把个工作电话机给你做明着吧，你有王阳，在那搞有嘛的。 So then
here as well in the basic text it says within the context of the view at the basic level of the view, within this context a single thing which possesses the property of the final nature of things. So we'll take a person here as an example. The person possesses the property of the dharmata, or the final nature of things. So within that, upon that single thing which possesses that property, the reasoning awareness, the awareness which has rationally investigated the final nature of things, and the conventional valid awareness, valid knowledge. These two have two different ways of finding things. What they find is different. That is, the reasoning awareness, which has investigated the final nature of things, finds ultimate reality, whereas conventional valid awareness finds phenomenal things. So thus here as well, it depends upon properly understanding that there's no contradiction in this, even the slightest contradiction with respect to this. Depends upon properly understanding what was specified above in terms of the identification and definition of the two realities.
그래서 뭐야? 다들 들어와도 송도 데뷔 가서 산재 기사를 데뷔 가서 지다와 침비 시다 진예바 침비 이신이지 유자와나 나 지다와 침비 시대야 다시 시원하시 세자 진예바 침 진예바 침비 시대야 세자 지다와 침 그러와 네가 챙겨와래 그러와 자와나 대전도 마세스 다 가서래 유대라 사만이 강소 내바 시고 그래서 지다와 침비 이시디 세자 진예바 자장 세자 진예바라 아니 진예바 제저 그 참만 마송 진예바 또 베트남인 얘기 세자 지다와라 참말 송장 간세자 지다와 또장 세자 지다와라 아니 지다와 또 참만 마송 마송아 인장 다 참아 강성 레벨 시와 지다와 또비 아니 이시디 세자 지다와라 참마송 지다와 제제도 참마송 진예바 제제를 참마송 진예바 진비 이시디 세자 지다와 또장 진예바라 제제그 참마송 진예바라 지다와 제제그 참마송와 인장 대시구레 대장도 마사 유대라 참마니 강성 레벨 시나 와 텐더가 레바 시나 참아 강성데 레바 시나 지다와 또 남진당 지다와 또 진예부터 남진이 오기 유소서 망해와래 유소서 망하지 지다와 또 남진디야 진예와 또 남진디야 지다와 또 바인장 유소서 망해장 유전이 신도 명와 신유소 지다와 또 남진당 진예와 또 남진이 오기 신도 요아마래 와 그래서 진예부터 남지 진예바 자바 잠지 진예부터 남지 그 말이 지다와 생그 남지 써야 돼야 지다와 자바 잠지 아니 지다와 또 남지 그 말이 예산 대신에 아니 유전이 오더 가와시 그래 야
유전이 시도도 영화
유전이 오더 가와시 하시 그래 때도와 대산도 말 가서 레버시나 유소소를 망해자 유전이 그 신도 명와 세다 신도 명나 가와라와 신도 명와 시와 뉘데 좋아 야
유전이 시도도 명화요
네 신도 명와 가와 인바데 시와 뉘 시와 뉘지 시와 뉘데 니니 대반이 이제 천이 그 십자향 시와 차오 대반은 그 천이 십자세에 가라 가상하죠 이시 타도 집에 그 체면 뉘든 잠라 아니 전화대바스 그 말이 되잖아 아니 가서래 지다가 짐이 진예받은 좋다 타도 집에 체면 뉘든 로 그래 원하다 가르고 아래에서나 타도 쥐제제 참아대 아니 시대라 타도 쥐제게 참아 송가지고 그래 와오다 뒤 십자대 티게 그래 송 거래
So then, just as was the case in terms of the view at the time of the base, when a person is developing the view, how the reasoning awareness, which investigates the final nature of things, and conventional valid awareness, which is examining conventional phenomenal things. They have two different ways of what they find as awarenesses differs in accordance with the objects which they apprehend or they understand. So the same thing applies at within the context of the result for Buddha. At the time of Buddhahood, then one actualizes both the awareness, the omniscience which knows things as they are, as well as the omniscience which knows things in their diversity. But the omniscience that knows things as they are operates as a valid awareness. Let me start over there. The omniscience that knows things as they are actually also knows things in their diversity. And likewise, the omniscience which knows things in their diversity also knows things as they are. But by virtue of the difference in terms of their principal objects, the one being the final nature of things, the dharmata, reality, and the other being the plurality of phenomenal things and conventional things, because of the difference in those objects, then each of those kinds of omniscience function as a valid awareness with respect to their respective principal objects. And that is explained here in the text, that on the occasion of the result as well, within the context of the result, referring here to Buddhahood, when the two types of gnosis, here referring to the gnosis which understands, which knows the things as they are, which knows the final nature of things, and the gnosis which knows things in their diversity, when those two types of gnosis validly know their objects, it's not merely that they validly know their objects, but they actually become a valid awareness, a valid knowledge with respect to those objects. And if one properly understands that point, then one is also able to understand that if the objects are not individually ascertained, then it's also the case that the two perceiving subjects here, this is referring then to the omniscience which knows things in their diversity, as well as the omniscience which knows things in their as they are. Those two types of gnosis, those two perceiving subjects, cannot coexist in a common base. That would be impossible. So one will understand that, and in that way then, by means of that, then one is able to understand also the precise details of the definition of the two realities.
그래서 오야 대단도 맞아요. 세자대로 요소소 망의자 요전이 그 신도명 시와 뉘라. 너네 담반이 천이지 십자양 시와 차오 세가라. 안에 타도 저게 참만 여든 잠 전단대에 천이 많이 봐. 타도 저게 참마디 유태라 타도 저게도 제저 송화지 고와 요한장. 어디 뒤야가 천송아. 봐. 유태라 참아 강도송 레바시오레 나타도 제지 지다도 남진 대게 진예바 또와레데 진예바라 타도 제지 그 참아 마송하래 인상 진예바데 타도 진예바데 아니 지다도 남진기 또와 잠다 레데 와 지다도 남진데 아니 가서래 세세 진예바라 타도 제지 그 참아 마송하 나 대난지 집바도 제가나 인상 전단된발라 아니 타도 제제기 아는 타도 제제기 참아디 아니 시대라 타도 제제기 참아 송화 타녀 제제기 참아디 시대라 아니 타녀 제제기 참아 송화지 고고하래 어때 여자 아니 참아니 어디 가와래 참아니 어디 요디 갑니까 참아니 어디 가야 가래서나 참아니 어디 안 도봐 세자 치다와 도배 찬 도잖네 아니 치다와 도배 남진 세자 친이와 도배 도잖네 아니 친이와 도배 남진 예자 치다와 도배 남진다 친이와 도배 남진이까 와 세제 지다와 또 봤던지 아니 진행부터 진행부터 남지 쓰고 가서 지다와 또 남지 쓰고 말이
라
세제 지다와 또 봤던지 지다와 또 남지 쓰고 말이 이신이 어디 가와래 요가와 말이
요가와 말에
요가와 말이 바로 가르래서나 진행바 준비 시대양 지다와 준비 요 세제 지다와 chen 지다와 준비 남제대양 안 세제 진행비 진행비 준비 요 세제 진행바 chen 요가마 송하다 이신이 어디 가와래
알았어.
즉 지다와 준비 도전에 세제 지다와를 참아 송하시고 와래 즉 진행바 준비 도전에 세제 진행바를 참아 송하시고 그래
So then again to reiterate this, the way this works is that the two forms of gnosis are distinguished according to the primary object, which is that to which they act as valid awareness. Both forms of gnosis understand both types of objects, that is, things as they are, that is the final nature of things, or the dharmata, final nature of things, and they also understand the things in their diversity. But in terms of the way they function as a valid awareness, the knowledge of things as they are acts as valid awareness with respect to things as they are, that is the final nature of things, insofar as it is di chitawa kimpe yeshi dan jinipe kimpe yeshi kawares di
네, 요니오데 가와 마레스.
요니보디 가와
마레스.
가와 마레스.
요미오데 가려 뭔가 가려서나 지다바 침비 이시기 요 세자 진행바데 지다바 침비 남지 요래 뒤또 그래. 와. 세자 지다바 침비 요 남지 요 동반이 대상 진행바 침비 이시기 또 그래. 요니마가 나 지다바 침비 남제당 안에 지다바 침비 남제스나 가와레스. 즉 지다와 집에 독자네 샤바
독자네
즉 진예와 집에 독자네 샤디 진예와 집에 또 남제인데 세자 진예발라 안에 쥐쥐기 참만 줘야 지다와 또 남제지 세자 지다와라 안에 쥐쥐기 참만 줘게 어떤지 고아린장 유전이 어디 가와레스 유니 어디 가와 마레스
So another way to distinguish them is by, in terms of the way in which you can distinguish them from the point of view of how they're operating as perceiving subjects. The fact is, because both forms of gnosis know both types of objects, they understand both the diversity of things as well as things as they are, these two realities, or the two characters of things. Yet, in terms of, like, when we're distinguishing the two forms of gnosis, we're doing so from the point of view of how they're operating as forms of valid knowledge, and so we can separate them in the sense that the one is valid knowledge with respect to one type of object, either the things as they are, the ultimate nature of things, or the things in their diversity, the phenomenal nature of things. But so in that, if we're doing it that way, then we would say that the objects of knowledge there are not in opposition to each other. Rather, the two types of awareness, or as perceiving subjects, they are contradictory to each other. They're being defined in opposition to one another.
Oh yeah, that didn't 다티마 전담 기여와 샤발라 주지 예배 나네 다 담보 전담 담발라 예수 민자와 되라 다 주제래 돈이래 개월에 채나 안에다 수동반이라서 돈이 주루체 등도 채나 안에 동시我没把当安的上当先去干了东把西钱东西过呢女呢东西看啥的确实他们一送吧大都呢也都居住西这他们东西忙不送有咱得送到钱呢安的你得送一把的是吧
对你托你给不钱了
结果了也呢是结果了也呢苏东把你了说他东西居住要的是吧苏东把你去东把你想东把你在这场讲么去东西居住钱这都讲呢我东把你我没法东把你然后我东把你现在我东把你真的洗钱是吧他提前了安尼太阳对呢安尼看啥给大妹的确实大妹你
So then that leads into the next topic is the subdivisions of the ultimate, and there's multiple subdivisions of this topic as well, where it says that there are different ways in which that one can differentiate ultimate reality, and here it says that. If one subdivides ultimate reality, then as it says in the commentary on the introduction to the Middle Way, if one extensively subdivides emptiness, one speaks of 16 forms of emptiness. If one does it in an intermediate fashion, there is the emptiness of existence, emptiness of that non-existence. There's emptiness of self and emptiness of other, of having a character which is emptiness of a character of self-character, emptiness of an other character, those four. If one bridges emptiness in subdividing it, then we can subdivide it into the selflessness of persons and the selflessness of phenomena, those two categories. And then with the 16 types of emptiness, there's a long list of them, internal and external, emptiness of emptiness, emptiness of the great, etc. Those are given in the book, in the note.
Oh yeah, 他谈个第一节了，他首先，我们简单，我们拿我当第二了说话，他听到了说明白的。首先了呢，你听他们我当特别听他们你说的是，听他们这样，有听他们我当特别有听他们你，有些听他们那样。你有件听到我的，特别有件听到你送过来的，是吧？我们拿完了叫没把这样，听到把它特别去听到把写起来的。我说的嘛意呢？我说你听到把这话他们家来单位吃日，谁干了？我来中国人民了，我告诉的，有听到我的了，当你有听到我的钱，有规定给当你到我的，有听到我的钱。你如果当对面给操办的，你特别有听他们钱，有钱听他们我啦，这些当面当年我什么都对不对？这些当面的有钱听他们我的钱，这些当家的，你特别有钱听他们那些干嘛的，是吧？这小鬼为军长过。叫没办法，听他把他特别去听到，我说你满意的是跟他这些多钱的，这些多钱的送给你的，这样听他把他特别去听他把写起来也是特别听到，我说你满意的，我说呢听他把这把他们家来单位去的，是个你能够这把来单位去过来，这些多钱的，你看是等住去这把来单讲，你能够这把来买单把印章。特别有钱，他们来买都有钱，听到我买的，但是 두어라 등고이나 메시 안데 두로시든데
So then this leads to, the subdivisions of emptiness. In another text, the other system, I should say, they make the distinction between an actual ultimate and a concordant ultimate, these two types of ultimate. And they would say that the actual ultimate is emptiness itself, or a direct non-conceptual cognition of emptiness would be the actual ultimate, whereas the concordant ultimate would be a case where emptiness is combined with the base upon which it exists, like, for example, a sprout as the base, and then the emptiness based upon that sprout. The combination of those could be called a concordant ultimate. It's not an actual ultimate as is defined in this system. And then similarly, a understanding of emptiness, which is still involved with thought, is classified as a concordant ultimate. So actual ultimate and concordant ultimate can be distinguished both in terms of objects, such as emptiness, or again the combination of emptiness with a base, those two types, and then also with respect to subjects, perceiving subjects, the direct perception of emptiness and a conceptual understanding of emptiness, or understanding of emptiness in which conceptuality is still involved. So that is explained here, or it's not. We're not sure if this is all going to get explained later, but it's introduced here. And in the lamp for the middle way, it says that this non-arising, because it is concordant with the ultimate, is called ultimate, but it's not the actual ultimate here. Actually, it says the ultimate is beyond all elaboration. Again, the druba tamchile debiture. Druba tamchile debiture.
Oh, druba tamchile debiture 세이가나 아니 유전 된다 뭐 되라 아니 가서래 이난 그 druba를 대화시고 그래 druba tamche 된두 그 druba 마사 이난 그 druba를 대화시고 그래 좋아 인자한테 그 인자 리시 도제디 티비 유전 된다 아니 인지 무슨은 마인데 무슨이 된다면 저와 탐지를 대회 시리즈 가나 뭐 되라 어다 유전 된다 뭐 되라 이난 그 저와 탐지를 대화시고 그래.
So then, there again, if we're talking about it in terms of the perceiving subject, the understanding of emptiness, which still has thought, is via the medium of thought, is called a concordant ultimate, but it's not an actual ultimate according to this classification of the ultimate, whereas the actual ultimate has transcended all elaboration. Here, elaboration is referring to dual appearance as such, as well. It also entails the elimination of the appearance of things as real. That's necessarily the case, but in addition to that, it entails the elimination of dual appearance, which is involved with thought. For the first one, because there's still thought, the dual appearance still exists, but through the reasoning awareness, which has investigated the final nature of things, the appearance of the thing as real has been eliminated.
那这个写起来了，写到我们讲嘞，谈判团当准备的，今天谈判团是差，写多些的，安尼我谈判团当准备起，以前团当我团当准备起，你呢，安尼准备团当把写差。那天着话的准备有钱团当面积，有钱团当我嘛也把看到的看到的是呢，让他团的这话呢，传统归了贴着人，谁干了？有钱团当我啦， 这话在了点住机这话的你那个这位错参加了说话去过过来写的然后对你这话也传统归来车出音
So this is explained also in the ornament for the middle way, where it says that because it's compatible with the highest meaning, the ultimate highest meaning here, or highest object, is another way of saying the ultimate. This is called the highest object, or the highest object, or the ultimate. But in reality, the actual ultimate is free from the entire mass of elaborations. So here, this is saying the same thing, that that which is called the awareness perceiving subject, which is compatible with the ultimate, or harmonious with the ultimate, is the understanding of emptiness via thought. And there, the elaborations are still present of dual appearance, and therefore it's not the actual or ultimate, final, the actual ultimate. The actual ultimate is free from the entire mass of elaborations, that meaning both the appearance of things as subject-object duality, as well as the appearance of the things being established as real.
Oh yeah, 第二来讲太大松心，已经为是吧？第二让这当我们见了，团他把接受搞把工作把也写到是的。 但工作爸爸就谈年的要把下面着，工作的要把写到，接受搞把团他把接受搞把团他们得把的话，现在团他把接受搞把团他得把现在，团他把接受搞把的，按照工作的要把写到，谈年的要把写到，那，这些，这里，兄弟大呢准备团他们就我啦，他明大做了，我这把他们就写住。 태남지 퇴니 있어. 당원지 마음배 남자바 이미지 시고하래라. 다시 얘기 시원하신 전에 아니 저번에 가서 그래. 리시 도매 돈용고선도 리시 도매 대 유전 전담 뭐당 남자바 마임비 유전 전담 리시 도제 대 아니 팀비 유전 전담당 남자 미국 전담 대신도 요 동반이데 그래서 동맥이 요 동반이데 아니 가서 요 전담 뭐당 남자 많이 비요 전담 누구든 된동 그 초바데 아니 가서 요 전담 팀비 전담당 아니 남자미 전담 오다 쳐봐도 지고래 너니 마음비 남자바 이미지 전담 대바 이 전에 그래서 전담 대바 이 세가라 리시 도제기 도무기 유대 남자마 마이비 전담당 리시 도제기 유대 남자미 전담 대바 이 전에 수소라 전담바接受가비 도면이 다다래도가 요 전담 거지 수소라 전담바接受가비 돈이 아니 남자마 마이비 전담 된바 아마 이신 가세 수소 接受가비 돈이 아마 이신 대 전담 된바 따와와 다들 조담 민저 아래샤데 대 전담 담바 따와와 군도 담바 챙이바다 남자마 가시 그잖아 대 전담 담바 따와 아마 이신 전담 담바 따와와 군도 담바 챙이바다 7만 년로 강거장 요도 참민이 배 세자면 받대도 다 남람비 이마인비 전담단데 라누라 되고 아래 가지고 셔바 나신테 전당에 시와 나신 전에 남람바 마인비 요 전담되라 동반이당 아니 남람비 요 전담되라 아니 지보대 누구대 된다고 초된다고 팀이 요전된다 대샤교 하래 요전 된다면라양 남자만 많이 받대라 리셋 도매당 남자미 요전 된다면라 가서래 리셋 도제 대란을 되고 하래 다 단단 니기 되단데라 수수 된다봐 이 전에 성어지 마부 남자만 이민이 전에 남자만 임바다 많이 받니 전에 수소라된 담바를 계속 가be 돈이 돼 아니 남자비 전단 담바 이신 제 전단 담바 따와봐 자 라루라야 남자비 전단 담바를 전단 담바 따와 고고가 다시 니구도 때문에 초된 샤이 봐 군도 담바 챙이 바당 시만이 로칸도야 참 민네바 다 전는데 봐 세자만 있어야 돼 로칸거 참 민네배 세자면 봐 돼도
So then this differentiation of the ultimate into the actual ultimate and the concordant ultimate, and then there's another subdivision or another designation of these two types of ultimate that corresponds in its general meaning to the way it's been already classified here as actual and concordant. It says here that that sort of that in the then in the introduction to the two realities, it's taught as we've just given above that in terms of the perceiving subjects, the perceiving subject that knows emptiness without thought directly. Is the actual ultimate in terms of the subject, and then the emptiness as it's cognized by that subject is the actual ultimate too from the point of view of the object. Then the ultimate, which the concordant ultimate is a name given to in terms of the subject, a cognizing subject, which sees, understands emptiness via the medium of thought, and then the object of that is also as an object called the concordant ultimate, but is not an actual ultimate according to this system. Then it's so that sort of system there is also explained in the differentiation of the two realities by Master Jnanagarbha, and here as well, it says that in the auto commentary to the introduction to, or I'm sorry, the differentiation of the two realities, as well as in the ornament for the middle way, it says that the negation of arising, etc., ultimately arising ultimately, and so forth. That negation of that is explained as being phenomenally existent. It says here as phenomenal, but one can gloss this as phenomenally existent. Then there's a way in which these texts, or an interpretation of the way these texts present these two forms of the ultimate, the actual and the concordant ultimate, by earlier Tibetan masters, which is explained here, and some problems with that are also discussed. The nature or the character of the ultimate, which is taught from those texts, has been explained by former masters as follows. And here, then that's an outline inserted into the basic text. The basic text here says the meaning of these statements in the differentiation of the two realities, as well as its auto commentary, as well as the ornament for the middle way. Many earlier masters have divided ultimate reality into that which is it's called ultimate reality, which has synonyms, and ultimate reality without synonyms. That's a technical term here. Synonyms is referring to without synonyms would refer to ultimate reality as such, the actual ultimate reality, whereas ultimate reality with synonyms is a way of describing ultimate reality as it's understood conceptually or by the medium of concepts. So the ultimate reality without synonyms is understood through a reasoning awareness which investigates the final nature of things without, has arrived at an understanding of that without having thought involved, whereas the ultimate reality which with synonyms is again a technical, a designation for the way in which the reasoning awareness investigating the final nature of things understands reality, ultimate reality, through the medium of thought. So these two are divided in that way by some of these former masters, and they would say, they say that physical forms, etc., the emptiness, which is the negation of arising, of ultimate arising, etc., with respect to physical forms and so forth, is the former type of ultimate reality. That is, ultimate reality with synonyms, and that is actually a nominal ultimate reality, not actual ultimate reality, and is an actual phenomenal reality. So it's called or designated as ultimate reality, but it's actually, by definition, a form of phenomenal reality. The latter of these, and this way of presenting these two thus far, is this way of interpreting the position that's presented in the differentiation of the two truths by Master Jnanagarbha, etc., and also by Master Shantarakshita in his Madhyamaka, the ornament for the middle way. That way of this portion of it is acceptable within our own system as well. But the second part of this, the way in which they describe the ultimate reality without synonyms is a problem, is not acceptable. The former masters said that since that ultimate reality without synonyms cannot act as a object for any kind of cognition whatsoever, then it is not an object of knowledge. That's their interpretation of what is said here. That is not acceptable within our own system here. Just.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I say, "Tendang dem ba dao, gu zhe dem ba chen yin ba, qi ma ni qie zhe tu diao wo qie." Da sun ba xiong tai da ki, tendang dem ba ni xie ba de, yu kuan na le qie ba, yu kuan na tendang huang du xie de, yu kuan na qie ba, ti tuan min ba, ta jing an de jia de na xin yi qian ni, tendang de la yu da yu jian ni ga jian ni, yu kuan na le qie ba de tuan me ba ni. Oh, teni, tenam ji tuan min ba, di da xie de, si yu kuan na la, 아니 남다는 남자만 이비 전담 자야다. 유코나를 잡아니 뒤된 민바 디다셔디. 유천이라 전담 차고장. 천이라 전담 쳐고레스. 유전 르시라양 아니 전담 샤바 만데. 유전라 전담 샤바 만데 이 되니까서 루바 메베 르바니. 다 르시 도메테. 누가 매비 리바니 전담 인데 유전을 전담 직세 우만나와 내장 전담바 껴와 매제셔와 시매와 대라 니니 퇴 껴와 매제셔와 시매와 대라 퇴니 니임바 되데 다 퇴니 전담 세디 퇴니 니임바 되데 다들라 퇴상공송 시와샤인 바래. 양다비 퇴와, 양다비 퇴와다 상바다 공발라 주비 시라 탐제니. 아니 치지 말로 비유전 임비칠 유전 아니 된다마写차디 니 된다마 임비칠 어떤 니 팀비 유전 된다 제거하래 그러나 이제 된다고 자자자들라 아니 가서래 유코나를 자요 말이스 유전을 자요 아래 와 유전 그 날이야 아니 루와 메바 리시 도면라 자야 지당 양아리시 도자라야 자야 대상고속이 돈이 또 대상고속이 실라자 이요아래 순과래
So this then that way of presenting it with respect to the second part of that position is incorrect because these texts which have been presented above, when they explain the two forms of the ultimate, they don't take it as referring in the sense of referring only to the object here. That is, they're not limiting themselves to talking about the object. They're also applying these two categories of ultimate with synonyms, ultimate without synonyms, and or the concordant ultimate or the actual ultimate. They apply those to the perceiving subjects as well. And this is explained here in the text itself, that that way of explaining it is not the meaning of these texts. It should be explained like this. Although it is the case that one has to take the object that is here nature, dharmata, as in the sense of the ultimate, it's also the case that it's often explained as referring to the subject, that is the reasoning awareness that investigates the final nature of things. And then here the texts are cited which show that. In the differentiation of the two realities, it says, because this reasoning, because it is non-deceptive, is ultimate. So that's showing that here, this reasoning here refers to the reasoning awareness which investigates the final nature of things. And in this case, it's referring specifically because it's non-deceived or non-deceptive. It's referring to that form of that reasoning awareness which is without thought, is not conceptual. And so that passage from the differentiation of the two realities shows that. And then likewise from the lamp for the Madhyamaka, it says as well that whoever says, whoever speaks of things such as things are without ultimate arising, etc. Someone who has spoken about that has to accept this in this sense. 양답이 투바단 삼바단 공발의 중에 담진이 진지말로비 유치니 비추. 양답이 투바단 삼바단.
양답이 투바단에서 돈이 도비 아니 퇴중 삼중 범중의 주의 세와 탐제 아니 유전 취재 말로바 인장 아니 특비 유전 된담 세거래 된담.
So therefore it says here that that which is a perceiving subject, which is unmistaken, and this is in reference then to correct study, correct reflection, correct meditative practice, all of the different kinds of awareness that arise from correct study, correct reflection or analysis of this subject, or correct meditation on it, because they're unmistaken subjects, they are called ultimate. And then it concludes, because this because they are this kind of ultimate, the ultimate in the sense of the perceiving subject, which is here. This is referring then to understanding the reasoning awareness that investigates the nature of, final nature of things via the medium of thought.
다티니 제송바타로 다야게 유전 전담 뭐요 남자만 많이 유전 전담되라 리시니래 리시 도면 파바냠샤 이시 파바냠샤 미도 이시데 리시 도면데 유전 전담 뭐다 남자만 많이 유전 전담체 다了때呢태권하는 집에 리시 도제 당 안태성 공성이 리시 되다 아니 유전 특별 유전 전담 거 말이야 특별 유전 전담다 남자비 전담 남자비 유전 전담 다 대조거와 다시 시사이 봐또 이제 도매데 니난 거 좋아 탐제래 대봐 또제디 아니 된루고 좋아 가자민장 아니 니난 거 좋아 마가봐 마자와 인장 아니 되게 특별 유전 전담 라샤고리 이러 또그 봐봐라 전담나 전담나 미도 이시탕 야산나 봐 미도 이시탕 전담 대단 제수 때문에 셰람니 셰비 광바탕 대단 제수 때문에 셰라 퇴상 공송 셰라 셰비 광 셰라 셰비 대단 제수 때문에 셰람니 셰비 리셰 도제 셰비 광바탕 오만 나와래가 전담니 셰바니 광바지 리셰 도제당 도매기 뭐 유전 전담 외당 특별 유전 전담 니 셰바기 광바 지바래 다 유라야 전담이 유전라야 전담이 다도세 유라 전담 외당 특별 유전 전담지 유전라 유전 전담 외당 특별 유전 전담지.
So therefore, it says here that with respect to the two kinds of reasoning awareness, the awareness that arises from a rational investigation of the final nature of things, there are those two types as mentioned. The one that has thought, that is a form of thought, and then the other kind, which is non-conceptual, is free from thought. And those two, and then they're explained here, and are on the one hand the non-conceptual gnosis of the meditative equipoise of an arya, and that is without thought. And this is, and then in terms of the subject side of this, this is referring to the authentic ultimate as a subject, as authentic ultimate, this or the actual ultimate, or in term. Then it's also the ultimate, which is not without a synonym in that technical term sense. So that refers to that. It's an actual ultimate. And then the reasoning awareness, which has validly cognized reality and dependence upon logical reasoning, is logical reasons, is involved with thought. So that is, in terms of the two categories mentioned above, called a concordant ultimate, or an ultimate with synonyms. Those two categories, or you could say it's a nominal ultimate. It's called an ultimate, but it's not an actual ultimate in this system of categorization of it. And the same thing is explained in the lamp, the blaze of reasoning, and where it says the ultimate is non-conceptual gnosis, and the wisdom which is in accordance with that, which is in agreement with that. So here the non-conceptual gnosis is the first kind of reasoning awareness that has investigated the final nature of things and is not entail thought. And then the one that's in accordance with that is wisdom, forms of wisdom which, as mentioned above, are derived from reasoning and hearing, studying, meditating, and such as were mentioned above. So the thought of that explanation, and then the thought of the author, the master who wrote the lamp for the middle way, are in complete accord with respect to the two ways of discussing the ultimate, meaning both in terms of perceiving subject as well as in the perceived object. There are these two types, the actual ultimate and the concordant ultimate, or the ultimate without synonyms and the ultimate with synonyms, these two ways of subdividing both subject and object.
Oh yeah. 공부 지기 매 전담이写吧유전은 미제바 유지선다 코나를 쳐봐대 다 흉부터 말해 순수한
So because they have the same thought here, these masters la umanawadi lobri shiwa tsoroa
우만나와를 전담이写吧你공부 지봐래 특히 유전전은 여기 따라下送啊우만나와를 요하면
So then both the Bhaviveka and the blaze of reasoning, and then Master Kamalashila and the lamp for the Madhyamaka have the same thought with respect to these two types of forms of the ultimate, applying to both subject and object. And since that's the case, then it's not correct to take an explanation of the two forms of the ultimate as applying strictly to the subject, rather without taking it as applying to the subject, taking it only as applying to the ultimate in the sense as an object is not the thought of these texts.
Oh yeah, that 전담무당 아니 팀비 전디바 팀비 요당 전담 조조데 다 조조 가르래서 다 다정하게 시작했어. 와, 테라 당보니 대관한 일라 주바나 아니 도매 그래서 도매 되게 dempada nina gu zhawa jikja rang gu yu du jie ni wei tendang wu yin ta ju jia sai ba ba zhawa tam jie le de wei de wa de xi yu tuan an te yi te o zhawa tam jie ani wo dempada nina gu zhawa tam jie le de wa yin zang zhawa tam jie le de xi yu tuan an te yi no ta tun bi yu jian tuan dam ri xie duo jian da le de ne de wei jia ba dang 최상 공순지를 시도자 이외에 랑게 유도 덴비저와 고뇌장 다 덴비저와 고뇌장 니난 그저와 쩨미니베 아니 지된에 대비 전담 아니 가서래 뭐 미도 이些대당 남바 제수 팀비 아니 팀비 전담모. Yeah.
So then this then shows that the two forms of this awareness arising from reasoning about the investigation of the final nature of things are the way in which they're established as in the two different ways as being the actual ultimate and the concordant ultimate. The first of these, when it engages in reality, then because it's able to when it's determined its own object, it simultaneously eliminates both the appearance of the thing as the elaboration, which is the appearance of the thing as being real, as well as the elaboration of the dual appearance, subject and object appearing in a dual fashion. That since it's able to cognize its object in its own object in that way, it's the actual ultimate, and this is also the meaning of what was set up above, where it has transcended all elaboration. The second of these, and the first of these then is the awareness which has, through reasoned investigation, has understood the final nature of things. That's without thought. So this is called then the actual ultimate, or the ultimate without any synonyms. Then the second of these, when although it's able to cease the elaboration of the thing appearing as if it was established as real with respect to its specific object, it's not able to eliminate the elaboration of dual appearance. Therefore, it's called the ultimate, which accords with the ultimate which transcends the world. And this, again, is the form of the reasoning awareness, which were mentioned above, that those which derive are attained through reasoned investigation and specifically inference, which is accomplished by way of reasons, and then likewise the three forms of wisdom that arise from hearing, reflection, and meditative development. So all of these have thought involved in them. So therefore, they're called the concordant ultimate, or the ultimate which has synonyms in this context.
Oh yeah, that's it. Dagi jini sawe gewa de dendang zhuwa kun la kan jeba ji zhen lo san zhaba yi denbin nianbo rindu sa chi sho sa chi be ji me do zhang ri raba ling qin li de genpa di san ge xing du mik te wu ye zhu kun nam da xin la chi pa shu yi dang ru rat ma mandala kan